Now they just told you they're kids, and like I said, this is a Jake Engelbrandt tool. What are you going to focus on the rest of that appointment? They're kids. That's what they want to protect. You just found out who they want to protect and why they do what they do, right? So if you're focusing on protecting them because of their valuables, and they don't care, right? They told you their priorities are their children, right? So it needs to be about their children and make sure their children are safe. And when you refer to their children, you need to utilize their children's names, okay? But people do it for peace of mind, right? And yet people will put the cheapest fire protection in their home because they don't know there's anything better out there, right? So that's misconception one, okay? So it's a little bit more than just saying it won't happen to me. It's understanding that people want to be proactive and reactive, and there's a reason why they do things they do. You need to find that reason, okay? Second misconception is there's plenty of time to escape. All right, the UL video is a gold mine for you. All right, because there's more than just showing them the video and pressing play. Okay, so this is something from my perspective that I do, and this is something that I don't know if Jay does now, but he probably will moving forward. Okay, when you're showing them that UL video, as it's going, I like to ask them. Now, there's a big difference between the couch, the smoke, and the legacy couch, and there's a difference between the black smoke and the modern furniture, right? You guys can agree. You can agree with that, right, Charles? Right, Charles. How easy do you think it would be to get out of a room like the legacy video, where there's just that light gray smoke? Probably pretty easy, right? All right. How difficult do you think it's going to be to get out of a room full of thick black smoke? Much harder, right? So when would you want to know about your fire? As soon as it starts. Tie down, right? They're already telling you. Okay. And I like to make sure that I'm showing them that black smoke and I'm pointing to it so they see what a real fire is going to look like in their home. Okay. All right. So after you go through it all, okay, and another just key term for you guys, all right, pyrolysis. In the video, when it's larger and you can see smoke coming off the floor, and smoke coming off everything else, it's pyrolysis. Right? That's those materials starting to get warm enough for them to ignite. All right. So when you see that floor smoking, and someone says, "Oh, I could get across that," no, you can't, bro. All right. Especially with what comes on floor nowadays. Stain repellents. In your vinyl flooring, it becomes sticky, right? Imagine raw skin against a hot, sticky vinyl, right? So those are the things you need to be thinking about, okay? This is where you ask them how far away their fire department is. And if they don't know, you help them find out real quick, okay? And this is when you let them know 63% of fire departments in Michigan are volunteer, right? And after you've played that video and you ask them if they knew how long it took, right? So David, how important is it to know about your fire as soon as it starts? Extremely important, all right? So right there at the bottom, asking this question may seem simple, but it has them thinking about wanting to know about their fire as soon as it starts. Ionization alarms can take 30 minutes to activate if they do. Right, so you've already tied them down, and then they're telling you they want to know about it as soon as it starts. Right, we give them a network that will notify them as soon as it starts. Okay. All right. Misconception number 3, we're prepared. All right, you need to reassure families that this is why we're here today. Okay, over 99% of the families we've seen aren't as prepared as they would like to be, which is why we're here. Okay, the fire quiz. So when I pull out the fire quiz, it's all right, Terry. Now I got a quick little quiz for you. Don't worry, it's not pass or fail, and they'll chuckle. Right, people will chuckle at that. All right, but it's just for me to get a gauge of where you and your family are and see where I can help you guys. All right, that's to see where you and your family are at and to see where I can help you guys. Okay. You go through the fire quiz, you get all the information. Okay. All right. Give them the people locator stickers. Okay. Explain to them what they are, why they are, and then you go over the meeting spot. Tie the meeting spot to that family. Okay. Do not tie it to the book, the story in the book. It's there. You can read it, but utilize the names. Okay. And this is why we say practice. All right. Because when you're going through the meeting spot, you got a child, right? So what are the names?
Cole and Grayson. Cole and Grayson.
Paul and Grayson.
Cole.
Cole. 45. Yeah, I gotcha. Colton Grayson. Grayson. All right. All right. So when you're doing the meeting spot, all right. So Evan, Carrie, where'd you get some meeting spot?
Uh, yard.
Tree in the front yard. That's fantastic. Now, Evan, do you know why meeting spots are so important?
Yes, I do.
Did you before this? Okay. Who's someone that didn't have a meeting spot before this? David. Who's got you got kids? All right. What are your kids' names?
Team.
Kaylee and Ace. All right. Right. And I know Dino probably went over this, right? But you're using their names, right? So, David, let's say you came home, okay? Your wife, Kaylee, no, Julia. What do you say your kids' names are again? Kaylee and Ace. See, I'm terrible at names, and he just told me fucking 3 times, right? That's why you need to write this stuff down. All right. So let's say, David, you come home and Julia, Kaylee, and Ace are all inside, and you see your house on fire. All right, and you don't see them outside. What's your first instinct going to be? You're going to go in and get them. Okay. Now, David, it doesn't matter how engulfed this home is. It doesn't matter how much smoke you see. You're going to go get your family, aren't you? All right. Now, David, what's unfortunate is there's so many times where there's families that are already outside, back, and you just went inside to get them. Right. Now, David, how much better would it be if you were coming out for work, you see that your house is on fire, but you pull up and you see Julia, Kaylee, and Ace outside of the mailbox?
Much better.
Much better of a bad situation. All right. See how much more impactful it is using their names than just going by the story in the book. And use their names and relate it to them.
Reinforce that it's okay that they're gonna run back. Like it's not okay, but it's okay they're gonna run back.
Yep.
They're gonna be
That's what I tell them. It's like, no, I've been trained for this for 13 years, not to run in. That's what we're taught. We're taught not to run in. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm going in for everybody, right? Including my cat. Okay. I'm absolutely going inside to get my cat if I don't see my cat outside. Right? That's right.
Hey, Stout.
What's up?
I always make a good point when I'm doing that for meeting spot is, if we run up on scene, as firefighters run up on scene, what's the first thing if we see a family outside? What's the first thing the officers are going to say to the family? Hey, is everyone accounted for? Hey, if they say like, no, we got Lucy up in bedroom up there, so now it's like a rescue. So I always emphasize, as firefighters, that's the first thing. If we know everyone's accounted for, it's a good thing, right? So it's another key thing I always hit on.
Right. So the meeting spots need to be designed for them. And then this is also where you talk about. Now, David, do you know anyone who's a firefighter? All right. Do any of you guys have family or friends that are firefighters? All right. So Evan, Charles, Michael, what would you guys do if you knew that you could help them? Do you guys want to help them? All right. So now by you guys having a meeting spot, you guys help the fire departments in your community. All right. Because over 50% of firefighter fatalities every year are due to stress and heart attacks. Okay. All right. So imagine us as homeowners, imagine what we can do for our fire departments when our house is on fire. If we're all at our meeting spot, we can tell them we're all accounted for. What do you think that's going to do for the fire department in our community? It's going to help them, right? So now their stress level is going to go down. Okay, they're still going to do their job, but they can do it with a little bit of peace of mind, right? A little bit more relaxed, right? So now they're understanding they're helping themselves and their family, and they're helping the fire department around, right? Everyone loves firefighters, right? They hate cops, but everyone loves firefighters, right? Right? So that's misconception 3, right? So it's there's a little bit more in depth for you guys with that. So it's explaining these and it's making sure they understand. Okay. When you ask a family a question and they just do this, do they understand? If a family says yes, does that mean they understand? No, you gotta make sure. How many times did your teacher ask you a question and you said, yep, got it, and you had no fucking clue the moment she walked away? Right, right. You're just saying it to agree with them to get.
You're gonna do the laundry, right? Yeah, you know it needs to be separated. Absolutely.
Right. You're dumping that in the laundry,
Yep.
right? And you're like, oh shit, was this supposed to be separated?
Yeah.
Right. And it all gets washed.
I can't even get away.
You get it done early enough, no one will.
No one will know. There you go. Right. So That's when we talk about when you're talking with families, right? They might be saying yes, they might be nodding their head. That doesn't mean they actually know or agree with what you're saying or get what you're saying, right? You need to make sure, and you do that by asking them the questions and having them repeat, right? And then you repeat their answers, okay? And you can ask why. If you ask why, they're going to give you their reason, and now you know if they understand it or not, right?
None of their fire codes. You do that right then, or you have to go over the spot and stick?
The meanest spot on the stickers. So after I go over the entire third misconceptions when I get referrals, and it's an easy way of asking, right? Now, Terry, how much of this information did you learn while me being here? When I'm sending out, Terry, did you think that was pretty important for you and your family? All right, now Terry, you probably have family and friends that would really benefit from this information that I just gave you today, wouldn't you? And you could probably help them out by having them this information if they ever had an emergency. Perfect. So what I'm gonna have you do, Terry, is I'm gonna have you go ahead and write down their names and numbers for me, and I'll go ahead and make sure they get the same information that you got today, and just give it to them, right? And have them start writing. If you say it, and obviously I've had a lot more practice than all of you, but if you say it that smoothly, he's just gonna do it, right? Because I didn't make it like uncomfortable. I didn't make it awkward, right? And I'll tell you, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I was awkward with it when I first started. It's just you get better the more you do it. You get better the more you practice things out loud, right? Record yourself, listen to yourself, and see where you can get better. That's the only way you're gonna get better. Okay. And then as Terry's writing them all out, okay, I said, Terry, now I know that only goes to 15, but if you can get me 30, remember that fire blanket and that burn kit I showed you? All right, I can give you, the company allows me to give you one of those if you give me 30 names and numbers. All right, if you give me 30 family and friends, I don't like names and numbers. You give me 30 family and friends, people you know that want this information, the company allows me to give you one. All right, so which one would you like? The blanket, fantastic. So he hasn't even wrote down yet, and I already got him knowing which one he wants. All right, so now he writes down his 15, and
Public dreams.
and I give him a piece of paper. I don't hear what he said. Right. And I give him a piece of paper because he needs another room to write the rest of the referrals on it, right? So you should always have extra paper on you. And your goal should be 30 appointments or 30 referrals every appointment. Okay. So he writes them down, right? And this is where you can take a little bit of extra time, right? Because now we're breaking the habit of trying to do an appointment as fast as we can. And we're just taking our time, right? All right. So Terry, you said you remember earlier we were talking about fire extinguishers, you only had one. All right. How would you like a few more? Love a few more. Fantastic, man. All right. So Terry, on that list of paper right there, right? I'm sure there's probably a couple people you wrote down that if you had an emergency at 3 o'clock in the morning, they'd be the first ones you'd call. Right. And they'd be the ones that you'd want to help first thing too. All right. So this is how you can do it, Terry. If you want to help me set up an appointment with them for tomorrow or even tonight, I can go ahead and give you one of those extinguishers. All right. After I run that appointment. Yeah. And that's why you do it for same night or next day. Right. So Terry's going to start calling brother, sister, girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, dad, whoever that he wants to protect at 3 a.m. Right. And he's going to set the appointment with them. And setting the appointment is super easy. There doesn't need to be a script for it. All he needs to say is, hey man, I'm here with this fire prevention company. They're going over some really cool information. I want them to go over with you as well. When can he come over to see you and Sarah? Are you guys available tonight? I'm gonna have him come over. That's it. All right. Have we sold him anything yet? So if they say, well, is he selling you anything? Nope. Right. And that's what you tell the customer. Was if he asks if I'm selling anything, I'm just giving them information. Okay. I'm just gonna go over a fire safety plan with them. All right. And if the customer, if the customer's doing this for you, they like you, right? So you don't need to worry about them saying anything weird. Okay. That's all it took. And that took me what, 30 seconds? 30 extra seconds to a minute to explain to him. And I'm going to give him 5 minutes and he's going to do it for me. Right. Because he wants those extinguishers. Okay. And that's how you get an instant. The problem is let's be honest, most people don't take the time to do that. I know I didn't used to. Right. I would wait till at the end and I would just tell someone to text them and let them know I was going to give them a call. Right. But now we don't need to do that because now we can offer the extinguishers, Terry, to set an appointment. Right. And if Terry is setting an appointment with his family and friends, what do you think the likelihood of Terry wanting this network at the end is going to be? It's going to go up a little bit higher. All right. So that's when I get referrals. That's when I get instant sets.
things. I know. Offerings of pearl sign. Didn't ask him, hey, would you like to say, here, write down. Question. Something I socially awkward. I'll do. Want to write some. Say, like, patient. What? Here.
Like I don't leave it open ended. I don't give them an opportunity to give me an objection. All right. If I give them an opportunity to give me an objection, what are they going to do? They're going to give me an objection, and now I got to work twice as hard for it. I just tell them. Right. And if you're confident, you're fluent with the way you do it, and you take action, they're going to take action with you. But I ask him which one. I ask him if he'd want the fire blanket or the burn kit first. And when he tells me which one he wants, I say, great, go ahead and get started, and I'll make sure you get that. Right? I'll say, here you go. It was a good pickup. All right. Alarm kill. You guys need to take a quick 5? All right. Hey, we're gonna take a quick 5.
Sounds good.
And then we'll wrap up and we'll be done.
All right.